and welcome back to another episode of The 12. This is a show about the Women's Super League, aka the highest division of women's football in England. We are here to discuss all things WSL, both on and off the field. Each week, we'll be breaking down games, showcasing stars, and highlighting important stories surrounding the game. My name is Deepti, and I'm here with my co hosts, Marc, Thom, and Treb. The whole gang is back this time. And this week, it's about bump, bump, bump. Another one bites the dust. Another manager gone. It's about, what'd you say, Treb? Losing even in victory. And we are talking about Mr. Brian Sorensen. His time at Everton is done. He's finally been sacked. It was coming. We talked about it coming. And they finally did it, even after, surprise, surprise, Everton got their first win of the season. But like we said, this was their first win in week 14
At Goodison Park.
at Goodison Park. You're right. Okay.
It was
Um,
yeah.
but still, in week 14, they're still like
Yeah.
just a few points above relegation. They've had like these. I mean, yeah, they're not like a team to be fighting for the top spots or anything, but they should be doing better than they have been doing. So yeah, and I'll let you guys like say your thoughts about him and what's coming next. But I think that now that he's gone, besides Mark Skinner, the like next longest tenured coach is it Sonia Bonpastor? I haven't looked at the correctly at the like list of coaches, but I think
It,
she might be.
it's it's her and Dario
There you
Vidosic.
are.
Hmm.
Besides Mark, so I mean, that's how in the last two seasons, like literally everyone has like gone, come and gone. Um, but it wasn't just Sorensen that was sacked. I believe the two assistant coaches also have left. And so it's the Everton U18s coach, Scott Phelan, who is going to be taking charge in the interim position for the remainder of the season. Um, and he was Everton's boys academy coach for a while, managed the U23s, and was doing the U18s now. But yeah, he'll be taking on from now on until the end of the season, taking over. Thoughts?
What? Oof,
That's a thought. That's definitely a thought.
oof. First of all, the WSL is losing their drippiest manager by far because Brian had that shit on. Okay, like he was going to the Everton's team store and he was like, "No, I want that. Oh yeah, that. Bring me that." But I guess it kind of goes to a larger conversation of like, is there like, is it, and two things could definitely be true. Is there a level of delusion within WSL squads or clubs like we should be doing better than we are, and like when we're not, like we're just gonna like you're out the door, or is it like the lack of quality candidates in WOSO is just so low that like so many people don't know what they're doing, and I don't know, like, and I definitely like am allowing that both things can be true, but like I think that those are my two like I guess quote unquote competing thoughts on that.
I think that last thought is actually a very interesting one. I mean, I certainly have a lot of thoughts about certain managers' performances, right? But but even somebody like Sorensen, like I think I might have said it. I don't know if anybody else said it on here, but I thought he might even be like a dark horse manager of the year type of manager, right? Like I actually thought like last season after the new Everton ownership invested, it seemed like okay, maybe Sorensen knows what he's doing. Maybe Sorensen can help take this team up to the mid-table, maybe higher than that. And he just couldn't. Like, I mean, this was like three league wins on the season in 14 match days. That's pretty poor, one home win. It's like and it's he's almost lucky to have lasted this long and so I think that that in and of itself also speaks to um, the lack of candidates out there, where it's like these clubs are kind of like, okay, if we move on from this manager, then what? So and so like Everton are like placing a youth academy manager in interim charge. You know what I mean? And so like they just have to, and I wonder too if the fact that it's not automatic relegation that's kind of influencing their decision to move on now, and like worst case scenario they have to play a playoff that you would still expect them to win given their talent. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, yes, and I'd say,
I don't think it's.
sorry, Treb,
Oh, you can
just
go.
one thing about that, about having like lack
No,
of manager talent around or like in the pool, but I think it's just that they don't know how to look outside their inner circle. Also, like we talk about how there's just such a rotation of managers within leagues and even across leagues that they don't expand. And there are some managers or people available that we know that are like really good and like should get the opportunity, but haven't and probably won't, unfortunately. It's just, yeah, maybe I think part of it is that too, that they're not even willing to like look outside the people that they already know, especially if you're like in the NWSL and calling a certain someone to ask who their new manager should be. That's not the way that they should go. Sorry, I
Woo!
had to bring that up.
Wow.
I can't. I can't because like
I always forget
we're on
about
a
it, and
time
then I'm reminded of it.
we're on a time crunch, and I cannot crash out about that today. I can't do it. I can't do it. So we're gonna move on.
I I kind of going to what Thom was saying the first point, where it's like I don't think teams are delusional, but I think with Everton in particular, I was thinking about it after we heard the news, where I feel like we're talking about, it's like deja vu, where we're talking about Everton in the same place we talked about them this time last year, where it's like the new ownership came in late December, kind of January 2025. They were fighting against relegation. The new owners come in, they invested a little bit. They said some really great things about how they wanted to improve not just the men's side, but the women's team as well. I think since then, it was this past summer, I believe, when the women's team was officially, that thing that Chelsea did where it's like you separate yourself from the men's side just to kind of I mean, I don't know the logistics of it, but like you essentially separate yourself from the men's
Garner
side.
more investment.
Yeah. But yeah, like they did that, and you look at this season, like we're still talking about them in the same spot. Like they're fighting off relegation. They're in the bottom half of the table. They don't really seem to know what they want to be or like what they're doing. I talked about it last year where I thought, okay, they had a great January, like a great offseason and a great January window where they brought in all these loanees. Let's see how they do this past summer and like getting in some permanent players. They didn't really do that. So I definitely think it was just a case of like the new ownership probably is looking at them and going like we're stagnating. We're in the same place where we were last season before we got here. Nothing has really changed, and it's time to make a change. So I don't think it's delusion so much as just probably new ownership looking at it and being like, well, we see. And this is the other thing too. I think the arrival of London City has really put the pressure on a lot of clubs, because you have someone like Michelle Kane coming in who's like, I don't care if this roster looks like trash on paper and like is a hodgepodge of players. I'm paying everybody. I'm signing everybody. We're going to have, I'm throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. And my team right now is sitting in sixth place as the new kids on the block. And I think other teams are looking at that and being like, we have to do something because we can't get outstunned on by the new team on the block. Like that just can't happen. So I think it's just a mix of all of those things where the new Everton ownership was probably just like, look, we got to make a change now. Even though he won in kind of like a morbid way, like it's good that he leaves on a high note, I guess. Like, great, you got the first win at Goodison Park. Awesome. Thanks. Let's use this momentum with the new manager bump and see if we can't, finish this season out strong. I mean, again, like I was talking about this last year with them. Like they finished, I think it was 8th last year. I can look this up actually really quick. Yeah, they finished 8th last year on 24 points. So, I mean, they're just pretty much on pace, maybe even a little bit worse points wise to be where they were last year. So I'm sure for them, they're just like, we can't have this cycle repeating. We have to do something to change it.
So what you're saying is that London City is the Indiana football of the WSL,
I think
and Michelle
so.
Kang is the Kirk Cinetti. Okay,
Well, I don't know if
gotcha.
Michelle Kang is the Kirk Cinetti. I think Michelle Kang is the boosters
Well, I mean,
that were able
I
to give
mean,
you the NIL. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
got it. Well, yeah, I mean, because they fired Jocelyn Prosher,
Sure.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
can't be Kirk Cinetti.
Yeah. But yeah, I think London City coming in and doing what they've done has gotten a lot of teams feeling like, oh shit, like we have to do something. Especially as we talked about last time, where you look at the WSL 2 and someone like Crystal Palace is in that third spot hunting for that playoff. Like they could very well take down whoever is in that playoff game from WSL. So yeah, I think just a lot of teams in the bottom half of the table are like, okay, we got to make a change now.
My question next, though, is, I mean, he's still not a bad manager. He'll probably get picked up soon. Where do you think he could go next?
If Liverpool were smart, they would get rid of Gareth Taylor and hire him. Honestly, I just look, man. Like, no,
Okay,
I mean, well, actually, all the shade to Gareth
but you
Taylor. I just don't think he's a good manager. Period. I don't think he
he's
should
not,
be.
and we'll talk about that when we talk about
Yeah, I
the
just don't.
Liverpool
I
United
mean,
match.
like, how does someone who failed
But
his
you
like
can't
massively with
you
City go
can't
to
as an
Liverpool? Like, that's crazy.
you can't as an Everton manager then go to Liverpool.
I mean,
Like,
I guess, but also like
that like they're like that just seems like
I
a
hate to
big,
pull this
like
card, but
you
it's
got
like it's also the
you got to
women's
have at
game. You know
least
what I
one
mean? I
like
mean,
you
yeah,
got to
but
have
it's
at
also
least
the
one
women's side of
step in
things where
between
it's
there.
like, is that right? Like, it's kind of like, Arsenal, Tottenham on the women's side. It's like, is that like the rivalry is there, but is it like, is it the rivalry?
I
You know
think
what I'm saying?
it is a rivalry because like none of them have like neither one of them have like really won
True.
anything in like at least 10 years. Like it's been like what 12 seasons since Liverpool won the league. So neither, and they went down in that
I'm
time
also
span.
thinking about like
So
what jobs will be open next year, right? Like, I think I can't imagine Liverpool would be like, let's run it back with Gareth Taylor after the season they've had. I would be shocked. I mean,
I didn't think
yeah.
they will hire him, so all bets are off.
Brighton, maybe?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
Anyway,
chance
I mean,
that
I
there'll
don't
be
know.
more
I
openings.
do think he gets up. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I definitely. I think you're right though, Deepti. I think he does get a job pretty quickly in the off season.
he will not be
Unemployed for
unemployed for
long.
very
Yeah.
long.
Well, let's get right into that match. So Everton played Aston Villa at Goodison Park. Like you said, it was their first win at Goodison Park this season. Everton won 2-1, and they came back to win on an 89th minute winner. And both goals were scored by a center back, which is fun.
Yeah, yeah, that was funny. It was I don't know. It was an interesting match. Maybe not the best played match. Maybe not like the easiest on the eye. There was definitely a lot of fouls and set pieces. At least from an Everton perspective, set pieces were kind of how they generated chances. They ended the match with 15 shots. So like I guess that is an improvement on their end, but they still didn't have like a super high xG, and they actually only had 39% possession at home. So it kind of just I think also Villa. There's one chance in particular that they should have scored, um, but they actually took the lead through Ebony Salmon. Nice, a nice shot from about just inside the penalty area after a nice team move, and I mean they seemed like they were mostly in control, other than the set pieces. But in the 32nd minute, Everton equalized through Martina Fernandez, as Deepti mentioned, the center back, on the back post of I think it was a corner. It might have been, yeah. But I know she was on the back post and made a good save. Yeah, that's right. Actually, oh sorry, made a good header because before that, D'Angelo made a good save that led to the corner. So I think we talked about Sabrina D'Angelo. I think she had not started a couple matches before, but she did start this one. And I mean, she was okay for the most part. Yeah, I wouldn't blame her too much for well, the second goal in the 90th minute, that was from a free kick, and it was kind of like from like a deep cross kind of area, and so it was like a kind of a lofted ball to the back post, and Fernandez is there. She heads it into the ground. I know those can be a little more difficult to save, but it does kind of go through D'Angelo, so she doesn't look great in that moment. But yeah, Everton kind of sneak a win. I mentioned before, Villa had a chance at one point, I think through Georgia Mullet, it was, who was one-on-one or kind of had an open goal, but ended up hitting it over. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's an interesting result from both perspectives. I mean, obviously, like Sorensen was let go after this anyway, and I don't think that, like, if you decide that someone isn't right for the job, like, one result really shouldn't change that, and this performance certainly should not have influenced them to do anything other than what they did. From Villa's perspective, I thought like they looked okay. I think it's just another kind of unlucky result. Probably just needed to be a little more clinical. Um, but even with that win, Everton is 5 points back of Villa, and so Villa's like eighth, Everton ninth. So that's kind of there's a gap there. So like from Villa's perspective, obviously they'd be trying to get up above like Brighton, maybe London City, trying to get into that fight for that sixth spot. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, just it was, like I said, it was an interesting match. Not the best match in terms of the eye test, but I guess happy for Sorensen, or I don't know. I don't. I can't even. Yeah, it's yeah. Happy for the fans. Happy for the fans
Yeah,
who've been
there we go.
finally watch your team win a match at home at Goodison.
Is Villa the most Jekyll and Hyde team in the league?
Yeah.
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 I feel like we talk about that every week, where it's like you don't know if they're going to win 4-1 or if they're going to lose 3-2. You know what I mean? Like they just so
Inconsistent.
wildly on both ends of the spectrum. Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if there was a reason Ellie Roebuck didn't play, or like, because she wasn't even on the bench, and so I don't know if they're, like I said last week, if Villa's manager is just kind of switching off between D'Angelo and Roebuck, but I haven't found anything on why she wasn't available. But I don't know between the two of them who is actually the better number one keeper. So maybe it is better to just keep switching them and like saving legs and stuff for just, I don't know, get the both of them get minutes basically. But like I said, none of us were expected an Everton win. So predictions wise, we had all predicted Villa to win. None of us got points for that one. Anything more to say about that match? Good. All right.
No. Yeah.
Next up, we had Brighton versus London City. This one was at Broadfield Stadium, and London City got the win 2-1 away. Yeah, Thom, you're going to tell us about this one? Or is it Treb's going to talk about this one? All right, Treb's going to
No,
talk about
that'd be
this
me.
one.
That's me. Yeah.
You're
I'm
going
gonna
to
talk about
and
this
that is
one.
because of Freya Godfrey, correct?
And you will know why. You will know. Yeah.
Oh, I
Okay.
ruined it.
See,
I'm
you ruined the
sorry.
tease. I was gonna
I'm
tease
sorry.
into getting there. But no, yeah. Brighton, London City. Brighton struck first. It seems like every time Brighton score, it's usually Seki with the goal. This one came off a beautiful pass from Haley. Like the back heel was chef's kiss. It was one touch football at its finest. They had a good break. The ball goes into the box. Haley just flicks it back, and Seki takes one touch to shoot it, finds the back of the net, banger of a goal. And to be like, I feel like all of these goals were bangers in their own rights, even though to equalize, it was Minami who got the own goal. It was off of a Freya Gottfried cross into the box that had blazing pace. It was one of those balls that it was one of those crosses where you're like, anyone that touches this, it's gonna go in. And unfortunately, a Brighton defender touched it, and it like was a banger of a goal. Like
hammered that mug in.
Yeah, like you can tell, like she was trying to probably just clear it over the box or over the goal for a corner. Unfortunately, it was such a pure cross that it was just like any touch that was going to be either the keeper saves it or it's into the back of the net. And unfortunately for Brighton, it was into the back of the net for an own goal. And then to close out the first half, Freya Gottfried actually scored herself with a banger. Like it was just a shot from distance, found the top shelf. It was just out of the goalkeeper's reach. She is finding tremendous form recently. I think she scored in their last 2 matches. Even though they lost to City, she had a goal in that. She's been performing really, really well the last several matches for London City. She's starting to find her stride. And a big reason why I wanted to talk about this match is because I am here to start the agenda of Freya Gottfried coming home.
Hell yeah.
So much like we saw with Chloe Kelly and Taylor Hines, who are part of the Arsenal Academy. Freya Gottfried is a product of that academy. And I think a big reason why Arsenal kind of allowed the loan into the permanent was because they were really high on Michelle Adjemaine, who has done phenomenal things. Unfortunately, an injury derailed her this season. But I think with the way that Freya is playing, in all seriousness, she will absolutely be a star in this league. London City have a great player. I think this is the type of player that all Arsenal fans who followed her through her time with the youth setup expected her to be. But again, like we talked about this off the recording, as much as it kind of hurts in a way as an Arsenal fan to see her doing this well for someone else, she needed this because this is what playing time does for players, right? Like you're not going to become this kind of player sitting behind Alessia Russo and Stina Blackstenius and maybe second in line to Michelle Adjemaine. You know what I mean? Like you need to be on a team that is going to say, we're going to give you the minutes, we're going to develop you, and we're going to let you flourish. And London City has been just that for Freya, and she is doing phenomenally. I love watching it. She's such a great play. Like just watching her play is just satisfying as a soccer fan because she's really smooth on the ball. She dribbles really well, and she shoots. She is a shoot type of player, and I love watching it. But yeah, London City got the win behind her efforts, really, because like I said, it was her cross that was perfect, that got the equalizer off the own goal, and it was her goal that got the eventual win in the first half. And so just really excited to see her do well and London City get another win, and we will see how high they climb. I mean, like I said it last week, I don't think they get into that top 5 because they're still 7 points clear, or not clear, but 7 points behind Tottenham. But who knows, with the way Tottenham play and the way things happen, maybe they close that gap. But as it stands, they are the best of the rest, I would say. Like they are very much the better team of kind of that mid-table to bottom half of the table grouping happening right now in the WSL.
Before we move on from this match, I just want to say how wasteful Brighton was in this match. 17 shots, 2 were on target. 2. That is yikes. That's not.
I think they missed Michelle. I mean, when she went down, we said it. When Michelle went down injured, they lost a lot of their bite in the attack. And unfortunately, outside of Seiki, it feels like no one has really stepped up, which is unfortunate. Again, like as an Arsenal fan, I would hope to see more from Rosa Kafaji, but we haven't seen much from her with Brighton. And, it's just a really unfortunate situation for a team that I thought was going to do a lot better than they're doing this year.
I also want to say Dario Vidosic was not at this match. His father had passed away.
They did have a moment of silence and a tribute for his father to start the match. It was a beautiful moment. And yes, that is why.
It was very touching.
Yeah, that is why he's been away from the team. And, obviously we wish him and his family all the best through this tough time.
And good on Brighton for, allowing him this time.
Yeah.
Because that's important.
Absolutely. And Brighton, I think, I don't think they're just missing Ajamang. They're missing Fran Kirby too. And like she obviously is a veteran player, but like in that midfield,
That's the one.
without her, it's clear that they're such a different team. Like she changes their run of play. And so not having her healthy and there is big as well. And there were rumors of her even wanting to leave and like going to Juve, to Juventus. That obviously didn't like happen during this transfer window, but there's like a chance that she might end up leaving after this season, like in the summer. So even that is going to be a big miss. But um I think they said that she's on track not to come back for the next match, but the following week. So we'll see. Hopefully they do need her back though, that's for sure. One thing though, before we do move on, I wanted to ask Treb, is there another player that you can like liken Freya Godfrey to in the way she plays?
Are we talking just women's soccer players? Because I do have a comparison, and I don't think a lot of people are going to like it, but it's the closest that I've
Sure,
seen.
go ahead with whatever
Uh,
comes to mind first.
she reminds me so much of Thierry Henry. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, she reminds me of Thierry Henry with the way that she's like she uses her length really well. Like, she's obviously a tall player. She has these really long legs. Like, she glides on the ball in a way I don't think I've seen many players glide on the ball. And she's able to just maneuver her way around defenders. Like I said, she shoots. She's not afraid to shoot from distance. Like she oozes on like the women's version of Henri to me. And I think, anytime you invoke the name of the king, it's always like, people are like, wait a minute, like, what are you doing? But I think just on pure, like, when you watch her play, if you've ever seen Thierry Henry play, like, you look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I see it, because it's just a smoothness about the way that she plays. And yeah, like, I'm enjoying it. Like, I know she's not with us no more. That kind of hurts. Like I said, I'm here to start the agenda maybe in 2, 3, 4 years time. When Alessia moves on, we can spin the block on Freya, and she'll be a finished product by then. But it's just so fun watching. It's just really fun when you watch someone who you believed in on the academy side go somewhere, even if it's not for your team, and thrive. And she's doing that in London City, and I love watching her play so much. It's a big reason why I watch London City games, to be honest, because she's just one of those players that's so fun to watch.
Nice.
But that's who my comp would be. I know some people might not like it, but that's who I think she reminds me of.
Remind me to have Crunk clip that. So yeah, we will be engagement farming brothers, sisters, and siblings.
Listen,
Oh, we'll take it. Yeah.
I will clip it myself, as we've seen
Clip it
before.
and
I
clip
do not mind.
that goal of hers with a complimentary Henri goal and see what they have to say.
Yeah, I would be. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much Thierry Henry follows women outside of Arsenal, but like, I'd be interested to see what he says, because she's just so smooth. That's all I can say. Like, she's just such a smooth operator on the ball and on the pitch, and I hope she continues it. I hope, obviously, like I said, I feel safe in that I don't think London City catches any of us, so I hope she continues scoring. Otherwise, I'm gonna need her to slow down. But
Fair.
but for now, keep scoring them bangers, yeah. Freya. Keep on going.
All right, moving on. We have Manchester United versus Liverpool. This was at Lee Sports Village. United won 3-1. I mean, I think it was like an expected win, but Liverpool again is showing that, they, I guess Thom's going to talk about it, but Gareth Taylor doesn't know how to manage them and hasn't been able to like get the best out of them. So Thom, take it away.
So this match, like, first of all, like, it really could have been 6-1 if we're being honest. Like, United was in such control of the first half. Like, they had the lion's share of possession in the first half. They definitely had more shots, more accurate passes, more shots on target in the first half, and they just couldn't crack the goal. And it wasn't like they were Falk made a couple of saves, but nothing like spectacular necessarily. And then halftime, it's 0-0, and like I think that kind of encouraged Gareth Taylor to play coward ball because they really just like what does our friend Silves from Shea Butter FC call it, a haram ball, where they were just all 11 players behind the ball. It was some nasty, nasty stuff. Um, Finally, United was able to score. Nosland was able to score in the 52nd minute from a really nice, towards the top of the box was a really nice assist from Jess Park. Yes, that Jess Park. Um, so you're thinking like, oh, okay, like this match is done and dusted. And um, Liverpool then got a corner only because, like, in a challenge for the ball, essentially Kerry Holland got like just slapped Jade Riviere in the face, um, like with her flailing arms, and like the ball like ricocheted off of Riviere, and like uh, out for a corner. So on the ensuing corner, ball goes into the box, and it's like ping balling everywhere. Fallon Joyce can't really get a clean touch to it, and um, this might be the first time I've ever seen a headed assist. Because yeah, like uh, Cornelia Kopacz like is credited with the assist with the header, and then Bergstrom scored. It's 1-1 in the 59th minute, and and like you could see Fallon Joyce is just pissed because like she definitely thought that she got interfered with. There were legitimate calls for offsides. I I probably would have called that goal offside, to be perfectly honest, but like I also understand why it wasn't. I mean, I think that this is just another example of PGMOL doesn't know their shit, and there is no VAR in this league, so like whatever. Um, and then the second goal, Naslin scored like literally 2 minutes later. Um, they surround Kerry Holland off the ball. It was Daniel Jensen and Ziggiatti. Jensen gets the ball off of Kerry Holland, progresses to excuse me, to Ziggiatti. Ziggiatti plays in Naslin. Naslin has a real easy shot, takes it. It's 2-1. And then it was like at that point you knew that the match was over because like you knew that Liverpool was never going to score a second goal. Like it was just, and not only were they never going to score another goal, they really didn't try to score a second goal. It was like there wasn't any like, oh well, we're gonna bring in this sub, and like yeah, they brought in Enderby, yeah, they brought in Lily Woodham, and they finally brought in Beta Olsen in the 85th minute, but it was like, okay, this is too little, too late at this point. Like, what are we doing? And then uh, at that point, in the 87th minute, uh, Rolfo gets a goal from a Hannah Lundqvist assist, and it's 3-1, and um, United are going back to Manchester with all 3 points. It's it was the cowardly nature in which Liverpool played, like, um, and the fact that like I understand that Beta Olsen is coming back from injury, and you want to be careful with that. I do understand that, but like if you want her to score, like you can't give a player just 5 minutes to try and score a goal and save you 2 points. Like that, that's not real. Like even the best goal scorers in the world can like, as a general rule, they're not going to be able to do that. Like that's not a fair position to put them in. It's really interesting to see like Skinner just pants Gareth Taylor again. Like, um, so I don't know. Liverpool's got to figure some stuff out, but I don't know if they necessarily will. Maybe West Ham like fumbles harder just because they have that terrible goal difference. But yeah, Liverpool is very much in a bad way right now.
Yeah, they're bottom of the table still. I mean, they're still only a point off of West Ham, which is crazy because it just seems like they're so much far, like in terms of just where they are
Mm-hmm.
in getting a system together and actually playing well. It seems like they're much farther down. But yeah, it's still just a point. So there's something could turn around, and like you said, like that relegation battle, anything can really happen. But um, I liked the terminology that you used. Basically, that it was just like cowardly play. I think that's a good way to describe what's been happening. Um, okay, the next match. West Ham, which is the other team in the relegation battle right now, versus Tottenham. They were playing at Chigwell Construction Stadium. West Ham took the lead initially 1-0, but then ended up losing 2-1 to Tottenham. So Tottenham had a comeback win. Um, this one actually was like a much closer match than I don't know. I guess maybe we did expect it because Tottenham can be Spursy, and like West Ham had kind of been slightly like on the up, and so it could have gone either way. Um, the goals that were scored were actually such bangers though, so like definitely see the highlights and like watch them if you haven't. But the first goal came in the 10th minute, and it was on a run of play where I think it was Siren who took the ball off one of the Tottenham players and just started the counter immediately. Uh, Passed it to Vivian Asei, who was playing on the left, and it was just like a bunch of like crossfield play. So like went up the field, Asei, then on the left, pass it over to the right to Wandler, and then Wandler immediately crossed it back in to Shakira Martinez in the middle, who put it away. Um, Such good play. It was really good football to watch and really good build up, but it was like mixed build up and counter, so it like happened so quickly. And West Ham was up 1-0, but they just parked the bus after that. I mean, there were a few times when they did like mainly for the first half, I'd say they were getting more chances to attack and put stuff on target. There were a couple like in total they only had 3 shots on target, and I think all three probably came in the first half. And like Tottenham could have been down 3-0 at the half if it wasn't for some luck and just some good goalkeeping. There were 2 goal line clearances as well, and so they just got. I won't even say unlucky because that's just part of the game, but that was part of it. Like, but good defending, so they could have had that. But after that, in the second half, when they came out, um, it was mostly Tottenham attacking, and the numbers are crazy. Like Tottenham had 68% possession, and they had 28 total shots to West Ham's 5. Like that's how much. Like second half was all Tottenham. But the thing is, like, only 5 of those shots were on target. And so it was just a matter of possession and just trying, which I guess is like, how they ended up winning. But uh, they were also a bit wasteful, it seems. But they did end up getting the win. So the equalizing goal was actually a great shot outside the box from Vinberg. It was just a normal run of play. Toko Koga gave Vinberg the ball, and Vinberg made took a couple touches to cut inside a little bit and just whipped it in, and no chance for the keeper to save that. That was in the 54th minute. And then the winning goal, we've said this many times, like every time it happens we have to say it, and I'm gonna also shout out Shea Butter FC again. Don't play out the back. This was just a horrible case of playing out the back. Like you can park the bus all you want, but then you just boot it. Like stop trying to play out the back if you're gonna do that. So yeah, it was West Ham backline. I want to say it was Endo, but I'm not entirely sure. She might have been subbed out by then. Let me think. This happened. No, okay. So I think it was Endo, who just made a pass that did not reach her target, and it was intercepted by Olivia Holt, who whipped it in again. Like the curl on this ball was crazy, and great goal. I think there was the assist technically was from Fries Tanberg, so like she was the one who intercepted the ball, passed it right to Olivia Holt, who one touch like put it in, and that ended up being the winning goal. That was in the 73rd minute. um, West Ham didn't have any more attack after that. Tottenham was still trying and held off for the win. Unfortunately, Drew Spence got a red card in late in stoppage time in the second half. Um, Deserved red card. This was a high boot. Like it almost hit the shoulder of like whoever it was who like she was going after the ball for it. Yeah. So no arguments there. That was one, and she'll obviously be missing the next match. Um but like West Ham again lost valuable points, and Tottenham got a valuable 3 points. So Tottenham is actually level on points with Arsenal right now. So they're sitting in fifth. Arsenal do have a game in hand because we'll talk about they had the Champions Cup. So they have 26 points, and then West Ham is back in 11th at 8 points.
Did West Ham score too early for their game plan to work? Did they because scoring in the 10th minute, you if you're gonna park the bus, you don't want to park the bus
Yeah, for 80
that
minutes.
necessarily early. But did they just score? Yeah, exactly. Did they just score too early?
I get yeah, yes and no. Like I think they have to score early if they want to get any momentum going into the game, like further into the match. But then also just don't park the bus. Like keep trying. It just seems like I was saying for the first half, they looked like they were attacking more. They could have been up another couple goals, but it was like second half their game plan. I don't know if that was the game plan total or if it just completely changed and they were like, okay, we're not really gonna attack. And I think that's where they went wrong.
I don't blame them for parking the bus. I blame them, like Deepti said, for playing out the back. You can't do both.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you're gonna be an
Pick
inferior
a struggle.
team,
Pick a
pick
struggle.
a struggle. Yeah, like if you're gonna be the inferior team and you know that goals for yourself are gonna be at a premium, you need to score that goal and then throw 10 at the back and never like play out of there ever. Like you just need to lock it down. But yeah, I don't know if they scored to it. Like Dee like, you got to take the goals when you can get them when you're West Ham, right?
Exactly.
Like you can't pick and choose and be like, we're scoring 10 minutes. It's okay. Like, no, take that goal when you can, but be more aggressive. I think against a team like Tottenham, they could have been more aggressive and not felt the ramifications from it in that first half, early second half. I think they didn't have to park the bus so soon, if anything. Yeah. But I don't blame them. They're West Ham. Like, they're struggling. It is what it is.
Like, if they wanted to play without the ball, that's one thing, you know what I mean? But then, like, you don't have to necessarily sit in your own half the whole time. But I don't know, that feels like a very Italian approach, which, Rita Guarino is Italian. She's actually the WSL's first Italian manager. But yeah, that's what as you were saying, that's what I was thinking. It's like, oh yeah, an Italian would do that, or at least try to do that.
Italians catching strays.
Parking the bus for 80 plus minutes is so hard though. Like,
that's
very few teams can do it, and yeah, it just takes one mistake where you're just like, oh shit.
Exactly.
Okay, sorry, there's a phone ringing in the background. But we're gonna keep moving. I haven't said predictions. We all got that one wrong. A couple of us had West Ham to win, and then the other two had a draw. So no points on that one. And then finally, we had Manchester City versus Chelsea at the Etihad. Chelsea didn't show up. It was just Man City. 5-1. That one goal was just like a gimme. Yeah,
about to say, does Chelsea know they had a match against Man City? Was that communicated to them that they were playing? Marc, finally, it's not a me clear out. Yeah, it's a Marc clear out. So Marc, you want to talk about your team, bro?
Oh no,
okay. I'll go over the goals, and then I want to ask Marc a very specific question because I think that this might actually spark the conversation. Okay, so yes, 5-1. the story of this match was Kerolin, Nicole, Israel, Faraz, Hattie in this match
Sweet
in a
Kerolin.
big
Bum,
spot.
bum, bum. Okay.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'll have to make sure that the guys on the Shades of Blue show know that, because that's pretty good.
Also, clip that.
Yes,
The Brits
please,
will love it.
yes, clip that. Um, so the first goal was basically off of a corner, and the ball kind of pings out, and then just a thunder bastard of a shot that, like, there was so much traffic in front of Hannah Hampton. Like, I don't know if she really didn't like register the ball was coming to the goal until the ball was like at her essentially, and there wasn't a whole lot that she could do at that point. So 1-0 in the 13th minute. City's feeling good, and then in the 36th minute, oh my God. So first of all, like, Yui Hasegawa absolutely punked Kira Walsh. Just like, give me your lunch money, dude. Like, just took the ball off of her, fed it to Viv Miedema. Viv plays a ball into Bunny Shaw, and it's Bunny Shaw, Naomi Girma, 1-on-1. And I think, like I said this on the Shades of Blue recording we did last night, good offensive play, especially in this league, good attacking play is going to beat good defending play. Good attacking tactics are going to beat good defending tactics. And you saw that in the way that Bunny Shaw just absolutely swam through Naomi Girma, who is, and I will say this without hesitation, Naomi Girma is the best defender on the planet. Full stop. And Bunny Shaw made her look like they were like 3 levels apart. So she gets past Girma, fires it past Hampton. It's 2-0 at halftime. So, and then after halftime, Chelsea come out really aggressive in like the first 3 minutes, right? Like, and they earn a corner. And sometimes you see this in footy where like the team earns a corner and then they don't play the corner well and the ball bounces out and there's a release valve for the defending team. And that's exactly what happened. And there was no timeline in which Kira Walsh was ever going to catch Kerolin, ever. And, and so, you know, she basically does a little dink over Hampton, falls back on her backside and is like, has her arms folded and is shaking her head, and it's 3-0. And the Etihad at that point is rocking. And then I've been so impressed with Viv Miedema's transition to become a true midfielder. Like, we knew that she could score, but like it's the little things of like finding the small pockets of space and like looking for the correct passes, because on the third Kerolin's third goal for the hat trick, she is able to find the ball towards the touchline, feeds Lauren Hemp running down the wing, and you knew Lauren Hemp was not going to shoot because she was looking for her teammate Kerolin, who had taken the space, gone through Sandy Baltimore, and it was a little bit behind her, and the shot wasn't the best necessarily. And Hannah Hampton maybe wanted to do better with that, but the ball still went in, and Kerolin got a hat trick. That stated, like, to go back to the maximum of good attacking play beating good defending play. The Alyssa Thompson goal, she put Sam Coffey in an absolute blender. My God. I was like, ooh, that's not good for the highlight tape. That's not good for the highlight tape. Sam, like, you're probably lucky it's another American that did that to you, because, ooh. So at that point, it's 4-1. Um, and then in the what was it, the 72nd minute, like so 4 minutes after the Thompson goal, City get a corner with the, and then it's a little Dutch connection. Kirsten Kasperine takes the corner. Viv Miedema flicks on the header into the back of the net. It's 5-1, and that's all she wrote. That is all she wrote. And then as the whistle was blown, apparently Hannah Hampton ran immediately up the tunnel to the dressing room. And when asked, when the captain was asked, Millie Bright was asked, what happened today or something like that, and basically she said, well, their keeper made more saves than our keeper did. And I want to just pull up the stats real quick and just make sure that I am correct before I say this. So where is it? City had 21 shots. 11 were on target. Chelsea had 16 shots. 6 were on target. So of the 11 shots that City had, 6 of them were saved. Of the 6 shots that Chelsea had, 5 of them were saved. So technically, Millie Bright is not wrong. Like, technically, she's not wrong. And, my God, like, okay, so we got to talk about this. What is it, Marc, about Hannah Hampton that, and I don't want to victim blame, but she sure do got a whole bunch of teammates that are willing to throw her under the bus, like, on a whole bunch of levels. So
and on her own team.
Right. On multiple teams, on club and country. Like, they do not like her at all. So what is it about that keeper that folks don't like? I don't understand.
What just to address that real quick, what I've always thought was interesting about like the whole Mary Earps controversy when it went down is like there were people who like there are people I think who are clearly friends with Mary Earps, right? Like Millie Bright's one of them. I think somebody like Ruesha Littlejohn, like she seems to like really not like Hannah Hampton either. Um, but then you had other people who spoke about it, former teammates of theirs, like Ellen White, um, who were more like defending the manager's choice and basically saying like, you know, the way that Mary has gone about this is not great, not ideal. But like nobody like actually came out and said, "Oh, Hannah Hampton's innocent." You know what I mean? Like even Alan White was kind of like, "Hey, you know, I took her under my wing. Like she went through some stuff. Um, you know, like the obviously we know that she was dropped, right? So like we know that there were issues. Like Hannah Hampton, you know, maybe being not the best teammate is not news necessarily. But what is news? Well, I guess maybe not news, but um, more recent examples of is Millie Bright being a terrible teammate. I mean, I don't know. And even like even the like okay, so in full like after the match, she was like they had more shots than us, they had more um whatever than us, they had more saves than us, right? And then she goes on her podcast, which is part of the problem. Like why the fuck do you have why the fuck are you on a podcast when you're an active player? Whatever.
In season.
Like
What
you have
in the Micah Parsons is happening right now?
you got training in the morning and recording in the evening. What the fuck are you telling me right now, bro? Like, so yeah. So she goes on a podcast. She was like, "Oh, well, actually, what I meant by that was we forced more saves on the other side, and people are too stupid to know what I'm talking about. And all I'm saying is, you don't have to lie, Millie. Like that is the worst lie. Like Millie, nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. Like if you wanted honestly, I think like if she was just trying to say after the match like we were just terrible and outplayed in every aspect, you
Mm-hmm.
could sell that. You could like that is belief like that's normal. But it's the fact that she has to keep talking. It's like, bro, there's nothing you can say that can make things better because the fact is it's a shit situation. I mean, like the last couple goals, like you see the shoulder slumping, you see um players arguing with one another. You mentioned Hannah Hampton straight into the tunnel after the match. Like the vibes are horrendous. And the only reason Chelsea are not in fourth place right now is because Arsenal didn't play this weekend. Arsenal are probably it's a home match against Leicester. So you can go ahead and assume that 3 points, right? So like this situation has I think is deteriorating very quickly. I think that Bon Pastor is like actively losing this locker room if she hasn't already completely lost it. We kind of there's just so much going on at Chelsea that just doesn't make sense to me. Like now Chelsea since the last time we recorded, Chelsea are linked with Nigerian midfielder Jennifer Echenije, I think is how you say that. Um
After she ran off her entire midfield?
what and after she won't play the midfielder she has at home in Nushkin. Meanwhile, Nushkin is like, what do I have to do to play? And like we get the report of her wanting to leave before January. January window is now closed. Nushkin is still here. Not trusted to start against Arsenal, but still here. Right? And like now there's reports that like she's unhappy. It's just like Bon Pastor has to go now. Like, I don't think that you can wait any longer. I think that the fact that you're in fourth place now, like, that's a crisis, right? Like Chelsea have to be near perfect to even hope to finish top three. And Chelsea Football Club are far less enticing without Champions League football. That's just a
Mm-hmm.
fact, right? Like you take Champions League football out of the equation, it changes everything. Like this is if they don't finish in the top 3 or not in Champions League next year, that's like the most disastrous outcome that could be imagined. Like because you have a bunch of players who are out of contract coming up, including Sam Kerr. And we've seen like we talked about this when Arsenal sacked Jonas Eidevall, right? Like this, we're now in this era of the women's game, right? These expectations are where they are. These clubs are spending more money, even though it's not like a lot. It is, but like no matter what kind of spending any kind of owner does, they want to see like a return on what they're spending, right? And like Chelsea have spent that, and now it's like, well, with it, not only have they spent that, they've gotten the outside investment, right? And so now for me, like this is a big moment for Chelsea's ownership group, right? Because they inherited a pretty stable situation on the women's side, starting with Emma Hayes, right? And then they went out and they hired the biggest name available. That's really what they did, right? You can nitpick her Bon Pastor's resume like here and there. You know, the fact that Lyon kind of was already a success before she got there, and technically, like at least on the European front, they kind of slipped. They kind of regressed in terms of their positioning with Barcelona under her watch. And now I feel like we're seeing that kind of play out again, but to a much grander scale where, let's be honest, the WSL is the most competitive league in Europe at this point. Now you have legitimately 4 clubs that can reasonably expect to finish in the Champions League places. And as of now, it's going to be 3 Champions League places until the foreseeable future. So Chelsea could easily, if they don't act quickly, like, and they finish outside of the top 3 this year. I don't know. It could snowball pretty quickly, I think.
Okay, I have 2 things to add to that.
How
3 actually.
okay.
1, this was such a joy to watch this match and like the highlights. Just like putting up 5 on Chelsea. I will rewatch those highlights. And in the manner that it happened. Like I have to say that was
Yeah.
a joy. 2, I don't have a problem with current players having podcasts. I think that's like several players have done that. I think even like Kristen Press was podcasting while she was playing. But Millie Bright, look at yourself first before you throw any teammate under the bus. You are slow, dog. Like, get back, do that speed work on those fast twitch muscles. Like, in the highlights, you can see, and I think it was on the 4th goal. She's the closest.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
she got nutmeg on that
assist from Hemp, but like she was the closest to Hemp and to Kerolin. Yeah. But then you see Girma and Sandy Baltimore hauling ass and sprinting back, and they get there before she does when she was already like half a field closer. And like I mean, mind you, like going to try to get the ball off Hemp instead of covering Kerolin is one decision, but still, just speed work and like just positioning as a center back needs to be worked on, and so she needs to like look at that first. I was just shocked, like you've been saying, Marc, like why is she still playing, and I was just like whatever, she's maybe like slightly dipped, but no, I really saw it in this game, like it was really exposed how much she's gone downhill. And then the third thing I want to say about Sonia Bonpastor, so like her comments after the match, she said something along the lines of, she referenced a lack of squad depth, right? And said, quote, this is from The Guardian, without making too many comments on that, and by that she's referencing players signed, she said, I probably would have liked to have been in a better place in terms of the latest transfer window. So, like, Chelsea didn't make any moves in January, right? Except a couple moves out. They didn't bring any players in. And so she was saying something about that. She's saying there's a lack of squad depth, but then you're also saying, okay, she's not playing the players that she does have though. So like that's one issue there. And then what got me though is there was a follow up to that interview, and she went. I'm not sure where this is BBC Sport, but basically, she said that her comments were misinterpreted, and she said she wasn't talking about lack of squad depth. She was actually talking about how injuries had affected their season. She said, I tried to say the squad depth has been affected by key players missing in key positions. That's the main reason we're in this situation. And then this part, English is not my first language, so maybe because of the language barrier, I didn't express that clearly. Ma'am.
No, ma'am.
She did not drop the I speak no English. She did not go, yo.
Damn.
Yo.
I did not.
Wow.
Yo. First of all, how many players do Chelsea need? You spent a record-breaking amount on Alyssa Thompson just a few months ago, right? Like, you spent $1 million on Naomi Girma, who got dog walked and Heismaned on in front of everybody on the world. For like you spent £1 million on her. How many players do you need? And then to drop the I speak no English is great, yo. That's actually wild work. I hope give her a lifetime contract. Give Sonia Bonpastor a lifetime contract at Chelsea, because this is hilarious to watch.
What I will say is that, one, like, I really do, like, this is going to sound so crazy coming out of my mouth. I think that Lucy Bronze not being fit for this match really screwed Sonia, because instead of being able to play three at the back. Don't do that. Because instead of being able to play 3 at the back, she had to play a back 4, and Sandy Baltimore straight up did not have a good time against Kerolin as an out and out left back. That's one. And then 2, to Deepti's point about Millie needing to do some speed training, maybe we don't want to connect her with too many more trainers.
No,
And that's
my
all I'm gonna
God.
Yo, that's wild. That's wild. That's actually wild. I was going to say, at least when Kristen Press had her podcast, she was like savvy enough, no pun
Yeah.
intended, given her teammate. She was savvy enough to never blame like anyone on Angel City. Like she was really smart to avoid that kind of conversation, right? So
Mhm.
it, I feel like we also talked about this last season with the whole like, does Hannah Hampton get hate when the book came out, right? Like I feel like we touched on that where it was like you could very much tell like her teammates do not vibe with her.
They don't fuck. They don't fuck with her, dog.
Yeah,
They don't fuck with
okay,
her
yeah.
at all.
You want to say it like that? That's what I was trying to say. They do not fuck with her at all. But like to come out immediately after that match and be like, yeah, their goalkeeper made more saves is great. I love it. I personally love it. As a media member myself, there's nothing I love more than when players and coaches begin the whole like I was misquoted. I was misinterpreted. Like, no, you said what you said, and I have a recording of it, and I've quoted you exactly the way you said it.
Yeah, I was like, do
Like,
you want me to like run the recording back
like,
because like
like
it's even on the team site. Like, what are we talking about, sir, madam?
like I have all these recordings in my phone.
What are we talking about?
Are you sure you want me to run it back? Because I can play the recording.
Right.
I can absolutely play the recording. You know what I mean? Like you said this. Now whether you thought you were gonna get the heat from it is a different story, but you said it. And yeah, Mark's not wrong, man. Like if it wasn't for the Champions Cup trophy lift, like Arsenal might be sitting above Chelsea right now. Instead, we're sitting in fourth with a game in hand, but we'll get to that.
So, no, actually, let's talk about it now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do that. Champions Cup.
Because we didn't play Leicester. Yeah, we did not.
Yes, exactly. Arsenal was supposed to play Leicester, but instead there was this other tournament called the Champions Cup that we talked about. The third place match and the final were also on Sunday. Just to mention quickly, the third place match, I believe Gotham won that by, I don't know what the score was, I'm afraid, but I think it was several goals.
No complaints after that win. Funny how that happens. Didn't have nothing to say after that win, huh?
They played...
Sorry.
Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the score really quick. But, yeah, Gotham ended up winning 4-0. That's what it was for the third place match. And then we had Arsenal versus Corinthians, of course, in the final. It went to extra time. Arsenal got the win after extra time, 3-2. I couldn't watch this live, and I actually couldn't even find a replay of it. So maybe I was just looking in the wrong spot. But I didn't find it on Paramount or on like Golasso or even on FIFA Plus or YouTube or anything. So I had to watch extended highlights. Treb, you can talk more about it because I'm assuming you watched the whole thing. But I just want to say, just based on the scoreline, the fact that it went to like extra time and the fact that Corinthians scored 2 on us, for a team that is mid-season against a team that is still in preseason, for it to be this close, I hope that it just showed that, CONMEBOL is not one to like be sleep or talking lightly about, and like don't sleep on them. Like obviously we have mentioned on this podcast, like we know better about CONCACAF and CONMEBOL than maybe a lot of like the Europeans do, and we rate them more highly than probably a lot of the rest of the world does. And so I'm not surprised by this, but I think maybe it was a wake-up call to like some of the rest of Europe that like they can hang if they want to, or when they're fit to.
Yeah, I watched. Am I on mute? Okay, cool. I'm just making sure I'm not on mute. I'm also trying to pull up like the stats from the match because they're really hard to find. But yeah, just from watching the match, like it was very much as you predicted, Deepti, when we talked about the preview for this match. Corinthians came in and very much had that CONMEBOL energy where they were. I mean, first of all, it was a rainy, disgusting, ridiculous weather type of match, like similar to what we saw last year in the Champions League against Real Madrid. The only difference was we were at home, so the pitch wasn't a disaster, but it was just a rainy, gross kind of match. And Corinthians, shout out to them. Like I said it when we were on Breaking Bread, which will come out soon on the Shades of Blue network. That, you know, I was really impressed with the Corinthians fans because preseason or not, they came out and they made that atmosphere really tough in terms of being away fans, right? Like they were there in force, they were loud, they were dancing, they were jumping up and down. It was one of those matches where like it was one of those moments where like I loved and hate CONMEBOL at the same time, because it was like, oh my God, this is the energy that I love. Like this is why I always talk about CONCACAF and CONMEBOL, but also it was my team going against it. And so I hated it. I didn't like the camera panning to their fans every 10 seconds, like treating it like it was a World Cup match. I hated it. I wanted them to just follow the script and lose easily, but that was not the case. They were very strong. Olivia Smith opened up with scoring. As we've talked about plenty of times, Olivia Smith is the goal scorer on the team. And then Corinthians equalized really quick after. Like it was like 6 minutes, 7 minutes after Zanatti got the goal. And then we saw Wubben-Moy look like she got the winner in the 59th minute, a beautiful header. And it was like, set piece FC almost all over again. And Wubben-Moy got the header, and I was just like, yes, that's it. Like, finally, we're going to get out of here. And in extra, like,
Big
in stoppage
Shamrock.
time, not even extra time.
Big Shamrock.
In stoppage time, Katie McCabe got called for a penalty, which I still think is extremely soft. I think by the letter of the law, yes, she did not graze the ball, and she got leg. But I think just as someone who watches CONCACAF and CONMEBOL, that is never called a penalty. Like that is the softest penalty. That is, I started looking up where the refs were from at that point. I was like, wait a minute, are these motherfuckers from that federation? Because there's no way you called that penalty in stoppage time, literally with like the last movement before Arsenal was going to win. And honestly, I was scared that Corinthians was going to scam a victory, because Victoria stepped up the spot, got the goal, and we're headed to extra time. And I was like, oh no, just because, again, you mentioned like Arsenal are in the middle of their season. They have City coming up. They have Champions League 3 days after that. Like, they do not need to be playing in 120-minute matches in a 4-team tournament. Like, I don't care that history is on the line. I don't care that $2 million is on the line. This is not something they need to be doing right now. They don't have the squad depth. Sonia Bumpestor wants to talk about squad depth. We don't have the squad depth for this kind of play. But thankfully, Caitlin Ford, who I have also slandered into finally doing something for this team, she came through in extra time, got the goal. It was a really beautiful goal, actually. Like, it was just, right across the face of the goal at an angle, scored it with class. Shout out to Caitlin Ford. Very happy for that. And the third goal was all we needed to win, but it was still like puckered butthole time the whole time, just because like Corinthians are just, like I said, they made it a very CONMEBOL match. Like, they were not giving up. They were very rough on the ball. They were very rough off the ball. They were just that kind of team, man. They were not trying to let us win that, which, like, I know it sounds crazy, right? Like a team in professional sport not trying to let you win, but just considering they were in preseason, they were really good. I mean, I'm sure from a neutral perspective, it was a really fun match to watch. Even like I said, with the weather, the way that it was, like, it was a really fun match to watch. 5 goals. Arsenal got the win. We continue to make history. We didn't play Leicester, as we all know, but we are now the first team ever to win the FIFA Champions Cup, which is really a plate trophy. So we got the plate trophy. And now that it's over, I can say, like, it's another record. And honestly, like, shout out to Renee Slagers. Like, we talked about her last week on the show, and then we talked about her a little bit on the Breaking Bread episode, where it's like, this is a young manager who now has 2 trophies in, I mean, what has it been, like 18 months of her managerial career with Arsenal? She won the Champions League, Now she wins the inaugural Champions Cup. You know, we're still mathematically in the mix for the WSL title, though I've said before I think that that's gone. We are still very much in the mix for the Champions League. We're still in the mix for FA Cup, so who knows? Maybe there's more trophies to come, but it was good. It was a good match. The only thing I didn't like from it, or didn't like on the match from an Arsenal perspective, was that it went, extra time. Like I said, with City coming up, with Champions League right here now, even if it is against Leuven, I don't like the fact that we had to burn 120 minutes of our legs in a very rainy, wet London type of match. But we got the win, we got the trophy, got the 2 million. Hopefully we can spend that in the summer and get somebody in.
As a neutral, I just love that Mariana Caldente played 106 minutes before she had to play City the next week. It was great. It was lovely. Love it.
I hate it. I hate this. But, like I said, I think the WSL's done anyway, whether we lose to City 10-0 or whether we win 1-0. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. I think the result's going to be the same come May. City's going to lift the trophy. Like I said, I just hope for the sake of confidence and momentum, we beat Chelsea 2-0. We got this trophy. Hopefully it continues into Leuven, and hopefully it continues into the Chelsea leg of the Champions League. Because that, to me, at this point in the season, is the most important thing.
Also,
and finishing top
Borb
3.
got injured at the end, which is the one really, really bad thing. And that was
a very nasty looking injury. We have a loaned in goalkeeper now at the window. At the deadline, I always forget her name. It's like Victoria. It's a Czech player. Our first, our first Chechen player ever for Arsenal. So that's great. I'm really hoping Van Domselaar is ready. Although I don't know, but we'll see when the lineup for City drops. I really hope it's not the Loneys' first match having to go up against Bunny Shaw and Kerolin and a City team that is in the best form of their life right now.
She plays for Slavia Prague usually, but for the Czech team, she is good. I remember in the World Cup, she did really well. So, maybe. I hate to rush this, but we do have to get out of here soon. So we're just going to quickly do our predictions for this coming weekend. First match up on Saturday, it's the standalone match of the weekend. Leicester versus United at King Power Stadium at 12 p.m. local time. I have United winning 3-1. Thom, you've put yours in. 4-0 United.
Oh, yeah, 4-0 United. Absolutely, Marc? They're gonna whoop them.
Got mute.
You're muted.
Oh, sorry. There we go. 3-0 United.
And then Treb, what's yours?
I'm gonna go 3-1 United.
Cool. Then, like we said, Arsenal City. If you want to hear a longer preview, check out the new Shades of Blue Breaking Bread episode where Treb and I join Thom and Crunk and talk a lot about this match. I think so. Here I'm predicting 2-2. I think on that I predicted something else, but I'm gonna predict a draw here, 2-2.
You predicted a loss. You Jedi mind tricked yourself into predicting a loss.
That is behind. That's the Patreon subscribers only get to hear that. Thom.
That's patreon.com, Shades of Blue.
Well, you know who else is
$6.99, I believe, right? It's a good deal.
Thom, what's your prediction?
3-2 Arsenal. You're at home.
2-1 Arsenal. I'll never pick my team to lose.
I'm gonna say 2-2 draw. 2-2 draw.
I'm about to say, you not having City score goals is crazy.
Okay, then we have Liverpool versus Villa at St. Helens Stadium. I have a 1-1 draw.
God, this is so hard.
I'm gonna say 3-1 Villa.
I got 0-2 Villa.
I really want to say a draw, but honestly, 2-1 Liverpool. Fuck it.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then London City
Wow.
versus Everton at Copper Jacks Community Stadium. I've got London City winning 2-0.
I got 2-1 London City.
I'm gonna say 3-2 London City.
And I'm going to say 3-1 London City. We're all in London City,
Everton's going to get another win then. Yep.
which means Everton's probably going to win that match.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
West Ham
Exactly.
versus Brighton at Chigwell Construction Stadium. I have West Ham winning 2-1.
I got a 2-2 draw.
That was going to be mine. 2-2 draw.
I want to go with 1-1 draw.
Okay, no
Ooh.
Brighton winners.
Yep.
And then finally, Spurs versus Chelsea at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Finally, Spurs get to play at the big stadium. 2:25 p.m. local time. I didn't put one in for this. Thom, big scoreline.
Yes, I got Spurs 0, Chelsea 5. I bet that week of training has been hell for Chelsea. So they are going to take it out on Spurs.
I'm gonna say 3-2 Chelsea.
Treb?
I hate Tottenham with all my heart,
Don't do
but
it. No, don't
I
do
feel
it.
like
Don't
this
do
is
it.
gonna.
You said you wasn't
listen.
gonna do it.
2-2
that's
draw.
what I was gonna go with.
Ah!
I think I would like to see Chelsea continue to struggle just a little bit to keep the humor
Just
going.
for shits and giggles, should I go with the Spurs win? It's like I think I want to see Chelsea's downfall. More than
I was
Spurs.
honestly debating that. I was debating that so hard, but I can't bring myself to say Spurs will win anything. So
2-2.
2-2 draw.
2-2, but really, I'm hoping 2-1. Yeah.
Or like a
I just don't
3-2.
think
Yeah,
Spurs
I'm with
can
you.
score
I'm with
three,
you.
is
I'm
my
really
thing.
hoping Spurs do the funniest thing.
I don't think Spurs
Nah,
can do
I don't
2-0.
have any faith in them scoring more than
Alright.
2.
All right, we're gonna leave, get out of here, so Litstream can get on. But you can find us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Hit that follow button to stay up to date when new episodes drop. Leave a rating and a review if you can. We would love to hear your feedback. There are 12 teams, 6 games, 4 hosts. You're listening to the 12. See y'all next week.
Kaden McKay pocketing Kerolin.